Have you ever been in the grocery store just kind of staring at the shelves and wondered what is really the difference between a fresh steak and a sausage? Or, how does a carton of fresh milk become a powder that can sit in your pantry for months? Well, today we're going to follow that journey from the farm right to your fork and really dig into the science behind the animal-based foods we eat. I mean, on the surface, it seems pretty simple, right? But the way we get from one single source to all these different products, well, that's an amazing story of science and a whole lot of innovation. The secret, it turns out, is all about understanding what our food is made of, right down to the molecular level. Yep, it really all boils down to two things. First, what's in our food to begin with, and second, what do we do to it before it gets to us? To really get what's going on with the final product, we've got to zoom way in and look at the fundamental building blocks of everything we eat. So whether you're biting into a juicy steak or, say, a fluffy omelet, you're actually consuming this unique mix of three essential components. These are the things that fuel our bodies and build our tissues. They are the true unsung heroes of our diet, the macronutrients. A good way to think about macronutrients is like the foundation of a house. Without a solid base of carbs, proteins, and fats, our bodies just can't function the way they're supposed to. And that word macro in their name, that's your clue right there. We need a lot of them every single day. So here they are, the big three. But what's really fascinating, and where the whole story of food processing begins, is how the ratio of these macronutrients in any given food determines pretty much everything about it: its texture, its taste, and how our bodies use it for energy. Think about it like this. If carbs and proteins are like your standard AA batteries, then fats? Well, fats are the high-capacity power packs. They pack more than double the energy, and that energy density is exactly why a little bit of a high-fat food can make you feel full and keep you going for a lot longer. Okay, so now that we've got a handle on the basic building blocks of food, let's see how this applies to a category that's a huge staple in diets all over the world: animal-based foods. And wow, when you look at it like this, you can see why. Animal-based foods are often total nutritional powerhouses. They're just packed with a whole range of essential nutrients, from those really high-quality proteins to crucial vitamins and minerals. Here's a cool way to think about it. Amino acids are like the individual letters of the alphabet. Our bodies need a full set of them to build the words that make up our muscles and tissues. Well, animal proteins are like having a complete dictionary. They give you all the essential letters you need, all in one place. So, how does all this science actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at something we all know: milk. We're going to see how one single ingredient can be turned into two completely different products, all through the magic of food processing. I mean, just look at this. This shows you the power of processing perfectly. By basically just removing the water, we can totally change the physical properties of milk. We can create a product that lasts way longer and is so much easier to transport and store. Now, pasteurization was a total game changer for food safety. Seriously, this simple process has saved countless lives just by getting rid of harmful bacteria in our milk. But as we're about to see, even this pretty minimal level of processing comes with its own set of trade-offs. And here it is, the classic balance between freshness and convenience. Pasteurization gives us a product that's safe and tastes great, for sure, but it also means you've got to keep it cold and use it pretty quickly, which creates its own challenges. Then you have the other side of the coin: dried milk. With this, you're giving up some of that fresh taste and maybe a little bit of the nutritional punch of the original. But what you get in return is incredible convenience and a shelf life that's just, wow, way longer. Now, this is interesting. When you put them side by side, you see that the main nutritional profile of milk stays pretty much the same after processing. But there are these little shifts in the numbers. It just goes to show you that even simple processing can have a real measurable impact on the final product. All right, so we've seen how processing can totally transform a liquid like milk. Now, let's tackle something even more complex: meat. The possibilities for transformation here are even bigger, as we'll see with two super popular examples: sausages and cured meats. So, making a sausage, it's not as simple as you might think. It's actually a whole journey. It involves grinding the meat, of course, but also adding all sorts of other ingredients to get the right flavor, the right texture, and to make it last longer. And here we hit that classic dilemma again, don't we? Sausages are a super convenient and pretty tasty way to get some protein. But that convenience often comes with a nutritional price tag, usually in the form of extra sodium and saturated fat. Curing is one of the oldest food preservation methods we have. It's a real testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors. These techniques have been around forever, and they don't just make meat last longer. They create these incredibly unique, complex flavors that people love all over the world. And this brings us to our final set of trade-offs. On one hand, cured meats have amazing flavor and an incredible shelf life. On the other, they also tend to be really high in sodium. And you've also got the use of nitrates, which are great preservatives, but have definitely been a topic of debate in the health world. Okay, so we've gone from the tiny world of macronutrients all the way to the art and science of food processing. But what does it all mean for you when you're standing in the grocery store? How can you use all this to make choices that feel right for you? So let's recap the big ideas to take away. First, just remember that at its core, all food is just a mix of those big three macronutrients. Second, we've seen that animal-based foods can be incredibly nutrient-dense, especially when it comes to those complete proteins. And finally, and this is maybe the most important lesson of all, food processing is always a story of trade-offs. Understanding that one simple principle empowers you to make choices that really line up with your own health goals. So now, armed with all this knowledge, you're not just a passive shopper anymore. You're an informed decision maker. You can decode the labels and really understand the story behind your food. So the next time you're walking down that grocery aisle, what are you going to choose? And maybe more importantly, why? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.